It is TexAgs Rewind. People can get in the video. Get in. Guys, goodness. I once saw somebody do a live hit. They're going to be really loud. With glasses on. And I only put them on this to tell you if you do TV with glasses on, it's not going to work. Why do you always get so awkwardly close? It's like Gabe all over again. All right,
Please
Brian.
don't call me that. I'm much more of a man than he is.
Okay, see, you didn't have to be rude. I mean, yes, you are, but you don't have to be rude about it. All right, so down with the King. We find out today that Haynes King is going to be QB1. Excited to talk about his journey. He gets the starts. He gets the reps now at practice. Looking forward to that. We did 21 and 21. Who's running the ball for him? Obviously, a lot of options, but Isaiah Spiller, number 3, coming in there. More on Haynes King. Billy Liucci called the show. We love when Billy calls it. And Ryan Brauninger. Want to do your running real quick?
I gotta get on the road, David.
That's going to get him beat up. He joined us for Recruiting Country. It's TexAgs Rewind. Billy, the news came down this morning. You expected it, just your initial reaction to actually hearing it?
Nothing. I mean, you read yesterday what I said. I thought that it kind of had to be yesterday at practice that they started to shift those reps. I mean, there was no – here's the thing, David, and that's the reason why I wrote it. Yes, in that practice or the weekly recap, there's no reason at this point. Haynes has been the guy. If people have been reading my write up, Zach's improvement level has been pretty phenomenal. Like the curve he's been on in terms of, I said he's probably one of the 5 most improved players on the team from last year to this year right now. But what's been going on is Haynes King won the backup job as a true freshman. Haynes also has done nothing but improve and get better since. Haynes' mastery of the offense was something that folks were talking about at this time a year ago. That was even in comparison to his senior in Kellen Mond. It's like, gosh, how quickly he learned this, turned heads and opened a lot of eyes in Brighton. It was a big part of why he won that job as QB2 last summer. So I said all along, sat there with you and said it was going to take kind of a Herculean effort, in my opinion, by Calzada or Haynes to kind of struggle to open camp, which was always on the table, and that's why this was a real battle. But that never happened with Haynes. He started camp good, and over the course of the last 2 weeks, he's done nothing but get better, including culminating in Sunday scrimmage, which I wrote. Haynes was really good. And Calzada had thrown a pick 6 to Jalen Jones there at some point along the way. It was just, it's been Haynes in terms of, I don't think there's anything in that locker room. I don't think there's anyone that would disagree with the decision. And I think Haynes did a great job of going in and kind of finishing last year as QB2. The senior leaves, and Haynes King did what he set out to do, which is just go in there and perform and nail down the job. So, and the one thing we talked about too, guys, was throughout this, I continued to say, when they're wearing those green jerseys and you know what Haynes is capable of doing as a runner, and you watch him run 4.45 and lead the team in that category during the off season, there's that whole other element of what you can run QB run game with him just to practice it and work on it, but it's not the same. It's not the same, and that is a tantalizing, tempting aspect of his game that you knew Jimbo, Daryl Dickey, and the entire A&M locker room can't wait to see when Kent State and Colorado roll around here in the first few weeks of the season.
Yeah, it's funny. We were doing this last year. We talked about Isaiah Spiller. I think we had about 6 or 7. I can't remember exactly, but I remember saying, as a freshman, Isaiah Spiller proved that he was good. The next step is we find out just how good. How good is he? Well, we found out he's really All-American good. I mean, he's a All-American candidate, a legitimate one. He was All-SEC last year, and that's without the stat padding games. He didn't get to play Ole Miss. Had he played Ole Miss, he would have rushed for maybe 1,300 yards. Might have led the SEC in rushing had he got a chance to play Ole Miss. I don't know what Isaiah Spiller doesn't do. Does he have just elite speed, no. But I saw him run for a 55-yard touchdown against LSU. I think it was 55. Might have been 50. Might have been in that neighborhood.
In that ballpark.
But the fact of the matter is, he broke away and had a long run. I saw he didn't have the touchdown, but I saw him have about a 50-yard run against South Carolina. So he's definitely fast enough to have to make big plays. I mean, he's not a plotter by any means, but he cuts so well. He can run with power.
He runs like. And maybe somebody made this comparison on the air. He reminds me of Arian Foster, the way he cuts, the way the long strides.
Liucci has said that, and I can see it. And the thing that he blocks really well, and man, does that guy catch the ball out of the backfield.
He can do it. And you know what I love about his game? In a way, he's a throwback running back where he can run between the tackles, and he runs very well against the but he can also go out wide. He can take it at any level, and he's just so powerful. When you see him run, there's the level of gravity, even though he's 6'1", 220, 230, whatever he may be, just a burst and a power when he gets through those tackles. Billy gave us a lot to think about, but initially, none of us were surprised by this. Maybe surprised by when the news trickled out, right? Right around 7:40 in the morning, I think it was. But we kind of, I would say even as far back as April, right after the spring game, I think the feeling was Haynes was going to be the starter, and now it was confirmed by Jimbo.
Right. I think that, Billy said it. We always thought it was going to be Haynes, but then Zach Calzada apparently made so much improvement that it was no longer just a slam dunk. But, it was like Haynes was leading the horse race, and another horse made up some ground, but never really showed that it was going to, catch and pass, right? So, not surprised that it was Haynes King. Maybe surprised at how the news came out a little bit, but not surprised at all that it's Haynes King. I've watched him when he was in high school more than I would watch a typical high school player, just because I'm from East Texas and I used to be the beat writer for the Longview Lobos, so I've always have a little special extra interest in the teams that I used to cover, and so I remember watching them in the state playoffs and on the state championship, and he was spectacular. Like Billy said, he's going to have to prove that he can make that play before 400,000. He's going to have to make that 3rd and 8, but all the physical attributes are there. His dad, he's grown up with football. His dad's the coach at Longview High School, all those things. So you just feel like this guy is going to be, like Billy said, that this guy's going to be special.
Let's move on. Walter Nolan yesterday putting his top 3?
Top 3, and he just tweeted while you were on the air that if he gets to 11,000 followers on Instagram, he's going to commit. Now, I don't know if that means a commitment to a school, or if that means I'm going to commit to an all-star game. Who knows with these kids nowadays? We all went through this deal with Harold Perkins, where Harold Perkins said he was going to commit, and it ended up being he did commit, and he committed to the Polynesian Bowl in Hawaii as his all-star game. So Walter never specified in his tweet that he would be committing to a school. So it's something that we're watching, something that I've been trying to run down this morning. Listen, I think A&M's right in the middle of this thing. It's very unpredictable what's going to happen with this kid, but I think A&M has situated themselves as good as anybody to land him, especially if it's going to be something very soon. But even if something went down today, the kid will be coming back to College Station at some point, whether he's committed to A&M or not. That remains to be seen at the time he comes on that visit. But he'll come down for a game. And look, there are kids scheduling visits now, and you start looking at the atmosphere. What, with a top 10 team, with the first time that the 12th man is back in full force in over a year, even if these kids show up for Kent State or New Mexico, or Mississippi State's an SEC West. I mean, that'll be a big time game no matter what. But those first 2 games against Kent State and New Mexico, even though the opponent isn't stellar, those atmospheres are going to be off the charts. That opener against Kent State, I bet it's going to be electric.
Now, you guys love the chit chat and stuff. Ask the newbies what we're supposed to do after this. What are we supposed to do after you watch a YouTube video, guys?
Like, comment, subscribe.
Can Can you say it a little louder so humans can hear you?
Like, comment, subscribe.
Like,
Brooke is with it. Brooke is
Brooke, all right, so now we're going to add in the element of comment. So please do that. Thank you for watching TexAgs Rewind.